Howdy y'all, it's Kathy from Rust Paper Scissors, and today I wanted to do a follow-up video on the video that I did yesterday, the Cricut Mat Hack. I forgot to demonstrate the workaround if you don't have a Cricut mat, but I just wanted to quickly just say what I did yesterday. Yesterday we talked about taking an old Cricut mat and cutting it down, and then you use it in your die cutting machine to, if you have an intricate die, it cuts it and takes all the debris out. So I'll just demonstrate it real quick. And I had talked about yesterday that I had made a workaround, but I did not demonstrate it. So I want to demonstrate it today. So I just want to do this real quick. And this is showing you the magic of doing this. Your die comes out clean. It cut, and then you just pull up the paper, and all the debris has pulled out of the from your cardstock. So it works wonderful. I love it. It does a great job. So as I said yesterday, it works on cardstock. It worked on, very intricate. Look how intricate, nothing was left inside. This is another die that we did. I cut on some thin paper, and it worked very well. Sometimes with the thin paper, you have to be careful how you lift the paper up. And then this is just an envelope that we cut out, and it worked on that. And then it also worked on tracing paper. So what the workaround was, if you do not have a Cricut mat, you might have a kitchen cutting mat. And this one is just about the width of, they're just about the same width. This one may be just a tad thicker. And what you do is, to make it sticky, you're going to add some Tack It Over and Over. It's Aleenes Tack It Over and Over. I put the Tack It Over and Over on this, and it works. It makes it sticky. I've tried to lessen the stick because it was really sticky, but it works. Because when you run it through the machine, the pressure of the machine puts a lot of pressure on it, and it really adheres the paper to this mat. So I just want to caution you on that. It doesn't work on all papers, but I was doing some trials this morning, and I was able to get it to cut out. This is just the thin parchment paper. This was a tag, and it cut it out. I got the die off, but it cut the tag. And then this was another tag that I cut. And then this is the cardstock. And then I tried to cut a, let's see if I can get it here. I tried to cut a piece of typing paper. Oh, you can't see. It's not showing up. But it just didn't work. When I pulled it up, it tore. If you worked very carefully, you perhaps could get it to work. We'll try a piece later just to see if maybe I can get it to work. But the tracing paper was a fail. So I wanted to demonstrate, just I say, taking this kitchen mat and running it through the machine and seeing if it works. Let's take a die. This is just a tag that I covered with some tracing paper. And I'm just going to put this die on there, and we'll run it through the machine. And this mat, I think, is a little thicker, so it is a little bit harder for me to run it through the machine. So you need to be very careful if you're doing this, and you don't want to force your machine. Like, I'm really having to force this right here, but I know it works. Okay, so I think the Cricut mat was just a little bit thinner, but this is, see how the cutting mat sticks to the plate because the tack it over is really strong. Now this is the die, and we didn't have as much success. This die, a lot of times, the paper sticks in it anyway. So this one didn't do too well, but it's a lot better than it would have been. Then you have the cut here, and then I'm just going to flip it over and try and peel it up, and the other pieces stick to this cutting mat, and then now you have your tag. So it works. Let's try a piece of cardstock. Let me clean this off real quick, and we'll try it, just a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to try my favorite die, the rose, and let's see how that one does. And I'm sorry I'm making such a mess, but I'm just trying to do this hurriedly since I did that big old long video yesterday and just forgot to show this part. Okay, let's see how this does. Made a little noise. But let's see. Okay. Again, this mat is sticking. The Cricut mat really doesn't stick to it, but it did okay. And then it looks like the die came out perfectly clean. Oh, there's one little piece stuck in there, but that's pretty clean. I mean, it's better than normal, what you would have to do. And then let's see if we can get this paper pulled up. See, I think I put too much stickum on there, but it's working. So it's not perfect like the Cricut, but it works. So if you don't have a Cricut mat and you want to try this, see how it pulled up all the residue, and now you have a piece of cardstock that is clean, and you could use in your as a tag or in your journal. So it does work. It's just not quite as perfect as the Cricut mat. But let's try one more thing. Let's try the tracing paper and see if we can get the tracing paper to work. It may be an epic fail, but we'll try. It doesn't hurt to try, So let me kind of clean this up out of the way. And I talked about yesterday, there's a lady that saves these little scraps and glues them on other projects. I was like, oh my goodness, life is too short. Okay, this is the page that we cut yesterday with the Cricut. I'm just going to use the back side just to save paper and not to waste it. So what you do is, it's just like with the other one. You take your mat, you want your sticky side to be facing what you're going to be cutting. And so let's try this rose again, because it seemed to do pretty good. It's pretty intricate. And we're just going to put it on there, and we're going to see what happens. I talked about this yesterday, and it happens with this one also. The cutting mat, after you cut on it, it does tend to warp some, and even the Cricut mat warps, so I just want you to be aware of that. But let's see how the tracing paper does. So it looks like our intricate die came out clean, perfectly clean. It looks like it is stuck down. It looks like it's probably stuck pretty good. Let's turn it over and see if we can peel this like we do with the Cricut mat. You roll this paper back, and the page comes off of it. Let's see, I don't know. Oh, it may work. It may work. Just have to be careful. It's very delicate, but it seems to be working. All right, all the residue, I don't know if you can see it on the mat, is here from the die. It cut it out perfectly. It's cut, and so it does cut tracing paper. So that is my workaround. It is taking a kitchen mat, a thin one, and covering it with some Aleenes, tack it over and over, let that dry, and then you may need to, prep your surface somewhere. You try and maybe put a piece of cloth on there to remove some of the stickiness, because going through the machine, it will stick to your paper. So you just have to be careful. But it cuts cardstock. It cuts tracing paper. It cut, it cut cardstock. So it does work. Oh, it even cut, I didn't demonstrate this, but it even cut, this is like typing paper, or actually it's called parchment paper, and it cut that. You have to, again, be very careful with it. It's like the tracing paper, it's very thin. But that is the workaround for if you don't have a Cricut mat to use with your die cutting machine. Thank you.